It is a bittersweet day at Riverside International Raceway. Fans are anticipating a great race here, but on the other hand, they know it's the final one here at Riverside for Winston Cup. We take a lap around this historic facility with several of the NASCAR drivers.
You come out of turn 9 normally in third gear, and as you approach the start-finish line, you swing from the outside of turn 9. You swing across the little short chute there to the inside right up next to the flag stand. As you cross the start-finish line, you normally would shift into high gear. You again clip the inside of the first turn there, kind of get the left front wheel almost reared up in the air as you go through that first little turn there, one of the few left-handers on the course. The next thing you do is you head down into turn 2 there.
It's a fast corner. It's the setup corner for the S's. If you don't get in there just right, it'll mess you up to the S's.
As you start into the S's, you can approach them inside, outside, inside as you enter up, go into turn 6, where you grab second gear and brake real hard right there.
Up over that bump at 6, I go all the way back to first gear. I shift from first to second, run partially across that second, then downshift to first, just like a drag car up this back straightaway. It gives me 4 shifts coming up the back straightaway. So we're trying to let that motor and transmission do some extra work and try to get the car a good run down the back straightaway.
You know, how you get into turn 9 and get through the middle part of it and get off makes or breaks your speed around this racetrack. You know, you can kill time up through the S's and make it up down the backstretch, or make good time up through the S's and lose it down the backstretch. But if you lose it in turn 9, you don't ever make it back up.
And how critical it is, how fast you're running when you enter turn 9 to get in the car, slow down into third gear, and then accelerate off the corner. There's so much time to be made, and it's such a critical point going in. And that, to me, is probably the most scary part on the racetrack.
And so there's a lap around Riverside International Raceway. The course itself is 2.62 miles in length, the backstretch 3,600 feet. There's an elevation change from the start-finish line out to about turn 7 or 8, where we have 100 feet. The race length 95 laps, that's 400 kilometers, and the fuel range between 30 and 35 laps. And so the field now begins to go around this race course on a couple of pace laps before we get the green flag for 400 kilometers of racing. And here now is the starting lineup for today's Budweiser 400. On the pole with a new track record of 118.484 miles an hour, the Quaker State Buick driven by Ricky Rudd. On the outside of that front row will be Rusty Wallace in the number 27 Kodiak Pontiac. In the second row, it'll be Terry Labonte from Thomasville, North Carolina in the number 11 Budweiser Banquet Baby Ruth Chevrolet. Outside of row number 2 is Neil Bonnet in the 75 Valvoline Plastic Coat Pontiac. Row number 3 has Kyle Petty in car number 21, the Citgo Thunderbird. Outside of row number 3, it's Dale Earnhardt in the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet, car number 3. Fourth row, Darrell Waltrip in the number 17 Tide Exxon AC Chevrolet. Outside of row number 4, the number 9 Coors Motorcraft Ford driven by Bill Elliott. In the fifth row, Dave Marcus in car number 71, the Lifebuoy Soap Chevrolet. And then Sterling Marlin in the Piedmont Underalls Oldsmobile car number 44. Row number 6, it's the Folgers Exxon AC Chevrolet driven by Ken Schrader, car number 25. And then this Gold Bandit Chevrolet, which will be handled once again this week by Morgan Shepherd from Conover, North Carolina, car number 33. Starting in row number 7 will be Rick Hendrick, yes, the owner of the major race team in Winston Cup competition. He'll be driving the number 18 Levi Garrett Chevrolet. And the guy that normally drives for him, Jeff Bodine, alongside in car number 5. Going to row number 8, it is Mark Martin in car number 6 and Chad Little in 19, the fastest of the Winston West competitors. The 9th row has Brett Bodine in car number 15 and Lake Speed in 83. The 10th row, Dale Jarrett in 29 and Alan Kowicki in number 7. The 11th row consists of number 55, Phil Parsons, and 8, Bobby Hillen Jr. The 12th row, Bobby Allison in car 12 and Tom Kendall in 76. The 13th row, Rick Wilson in car number 4 and Roy Smith in 79. Derry Cope in number 68 and Joe Ruttman in 31 start in row 14. The 15th row has Richard Petty in car 43 and Benny Parsons in number 90. The 16th row, Rick McRae in 08 and Giacomo Giacomo in car 63. Buddy Baker and Davey Allison start in row number 17. In the 18th row, Herschel McGriff and Terry Petrus. The 19th row, Bill Schmidt and John Krebs. Going to row number 20, it's Jim Bound in car number 1 and Michael Waltrip in 30. And then in row number 21, the number 52 car of Jimmy Means and Ernie Irvin in number 2. And the 43rd starter, car number 32 of Provisional from the Winston West Division, Ruben Garcia. So there are your 43 starters for today's race here at Riverside. And we have a couple of in-car cameras that will be leading us through this race here this afternoon. One of those is in the Superflow Motor Oils car driven by Rick Hendrick, as he did an outstanding job in qualifying, Ned, starting today in number 13 starting position.
Rick Hendrick is a good road racer. He has quite a bit of experience, not so much in Winston Cup racing, but he has done a lot of road racing, and he proved that by having a good qualifying run.
And the other in-car camera will be carried by Dale Jarrett in the Hardee's Oldsmobile, as he starts from the 19th position.
Bob, there's one driver starting way back in 30th position, and that's Benny Parsons, who has to feel that he's got a shot at winning this thing. Now, Benny is a former winner here at Riverside, always runs well here, but you figure someone starting back in 30th position might not have a good shot at it. But Benny, 2 racetracks that are no longer on the circuit, the Texas World Speedway and Ontario, Benny Parsons won the last race that was run at those 2 places.
So if history and tradition have anything to do with it, Benny Parsons could very well be the winner here at Riverside this afternoon. We've been informed that the number 76 car, driven by Tom Kendall, will go to the back of the pack for the start because he missed the drivers' meeting. There was a Corvette Challenge race here early this morning that Tom Kendall competed in, and apparently there wasn't enough time between the end of that race and the drivers' meeting, and so he missed the meeting, and he's been put back to the back of the field. By the way, that Corvette Challenge race earlier today was won by Juan Manuel Fangio III in a very, very good contest. Now the field comes off of corner number 9, and we are just about set to go racing for 400 kilometers. The Budweiser 400, the final race at Riverside International for the Winston Cup cars, and the green flag is out. The field moves through turn number 1. A short chute now moving to turn number 2. And now they begin to go through the famous S's here at Riverside International. It's kind of an uphill struggle through the S's as they negotiate the track from left to right, back to left, back to right, and then come uphill to corner number 6.
Bob, it's very narrow up through there, and you saw how quickly they got themselves in single file as they came through the S's.
Now across a short chute, connecting turn number 6 to actually turn number 8 because they missed turn number 7. The course is shortened for the Winston Cup cars, and so there is no real turn number 7. Through turn number 8 now and down the very long backstretch. Of course, the fastest part of this racetrack. That's Ricky Rudd that's showing the way. Rusty Wallace running in 2nd position. And then Neil Bonnet is 3rd as they come down the backstretch and set their cars up for corner number 9, which is a big sweeping turn. And Ricky Rudd setting the car into turn number 9 right now. And the first lap is about to be completed in the race as Ricky Rudd will be showing the way off of corner number 9 and onto the main straightaway. Neil Bonnet is running 3rd. Running in 4th position is Dale Earnhardt. In 5th spot is Terry Labonte. 6th is Kyle Petty. 7th, Bill Elliott. 8th is Darrell Waltrip. 9th is Dave Marcus. And 10th is Sterling Martin as we go inside the Rick Hendrick car.
You can see that he's holding his position very well as they head into the S's. He's doing a great job here in the early going.
Well, Rick almost won a support race that was held here yesterday at the racetrack, as we already have a penalty assessed to the 04 car driven by Herschel McGriff. He was apparently brought into the pits as a result of a black flag for jumping the start. So the old veteran Herschel McGriff has got some making up to do.
And he was the grand marshal for this race, a very fitting honor for a fellow who has won more races here at Riverside than any other driver. Too bad that he's got so much time to make up now.
Now we go back and check on the those running up front. That's Ricky Rudd still showing the way. Rusty Wallace 2nd. And then Neil Bonnet, who himself is still feeling some of the effects from a crash at Charlotte last month, but has qualified well for this race and runs in 3rd spot. Earnhardt right behind him. Then comes Labonte. That's Kyle Petty, Bill Elliott, and the others trailing behind.
Here we see Richard Petty's car coming into focus there, right there, making the left turn, the blue and red car. Richard crashed in qualifying on Friday here, had to go get a backup car. That's a 1987 model Pontiac, but he came back and qualified yesterday and running very well with him.
As a Matter of fact, Richard Petty was one of 2 of the regular Winston Cuppers to crash during the qualifying session. The other was Michael Waltrip. They had to get a show car.